we will examine the main setting of this work, the township of Junitaki. In this town of Junitaki, there is a homestead of the sheep professor, and also a villa of the rat. First of all, you won't find a town named Junitaki anywhere in Hokkaido, let alone anywhere else in Japan. It is a fictional town created by Haruki Murakami. However, there are very realistic descriptions and depictions of this town in the work. In fact, Haruki Murakami meticulously researched Hokkaido when he wrote this work. First of all, let's take a look at the description of the main character's route to the town of Junitaki. We caught the connecting train in Asahikawa and headed north over the Shiogari Pass. Here is a map of railroad routes in Hokkaido in 1978, the year in which the story takes place. As you can see from the map, the only line extending north from Asahikawa is the Soil Line. In addition, the main character changes trains at a typical small-scale regional city and continue east. There is a description in the work that shows that the line follows a river. Then, he gets off the train at Junitaki-cho, the final stop. When the first settlers, led by a young Ainu man, move east, the town is described as blocked by mountains and could go no further. In short, it is inland, not coastal. The only lines extending eastward from the Soya main line are the Naoro main line and the Biko line, as shown in the diagram in 1978, the year in which the work is set. However, the Naoro main line reaches the coast, which is different from the description in the work, that the end point is in a place surrounded by mountains inland. On the other hand, the Biko line ends at Niapu, an inland place which satisfies the conditions of the town of Junitaki. Therefore, the fictional town Junitaki is considered to be Niapu. We took a copy of the local history of the town of Behuka, where Niapu is located, for further verification. As a result, many supplementary supporting evidences came to light. First of all, the year of publication of the book itself is very close to that of the authoritative history of Junitaki Township, which appears in the work. Authoritative history of Junitaki Township was published in 1970. In contrast, the year of publication of the history of Behuka town is 1971. In the work, Authoritative History of Junitaki Township, it is written that the primary industry in Junitaki today was forestry and lumber milling. On the other hand, the history of Behuka town says the same thing. This town is surrounded by mountains, and 90% of the total area is forested, so the development of the town is extremely dependent on the growth and decline of the lumber industry. The authoritative history of Junitaki Township states, in the beginning of the Showa period, the town was hit by the Great Depression and a killer frost. On the other hand, the history of Behuka town states, from 1930 to 1934. With the exception of 1933, the town was hit by disasters every year, making life increasingly difficult for the farmers. In the work, the Information Board of Junitaki Township says that it is northern limit of large-scale rice farming. The history of Behuka town repeatedly states that this town is the northern limit of rice cultivation. There is a scene in which a station attendant in Junitaki says, "We're the third deepest in the red of any line in the country." The history of Behuka town also states that the Biko line had the third largest deficit in Japan, in 1966. Thus, the information in the history of Behuka town indicates that Niapu is the closest of the existing towns to the town of Junitaki. Incidentally, the Biko line was originally planned to extend to the seacoast. However, as there was no longer a need for it, the line was never extended beyond Niapu. In 1985, the Biko line itself was abandoned. Nowadays, local residents run trolleys on the abandoned line for events, and to revitalize the town, as a tourist destination. Now let's take a look at the aerial video on the course indicated by the red arrow. We'll be introducing various Hokkaido stages in other videos, so please take a look.